right, so we're going to keep working on the intermediate value theorem on this lesson. So on your notes from the previous day, we did find on 3C that f of x is continuous on the interval from -3 to 0, and f of 0 is less than -3/2 is less than f of -3. Then the intermediate value theorem guarantees there is some value c on that interval such that f of c equals -3/2. So what we're going to do today is find c, that value. All right, so I'll start off by putting c in for all of my x's. And then we're going to set it equal to what we wanted. So I basically just wrote that as an equation. F of c is when x is c, and that equals -3/2. All right, so there'll be all kinds of different types of equations to solve at this point, but this one is rational equation that we can solve by cross multiplying. All right, and then solving for c. So we get that value of c is -1. Now on your worksheet, what I want you guys to do is all the ones where you found that the intermediate value theorem was applicable, go ahead and do that part right there where you find the value of c guaranteed by the theorem. So it was topic 1.16 worksheet. We're going to do, it's technically the B part. So all the places where the theorem was applicable, find that value of c, that's guaranteed. And one note that on the back, you can use a calculator. So on number 4 and 5, if the intermediate value theorem was applicable, then you can find the zeros in the calculator. Hopefully you can remember how to do that, but it's second trace, and then choose whichever number is a 0. I can't remember what it was. I want to say 2, but I'm not 100% sure. And on the AP exam, you must be accurate to 3 decimal places. If you do not, on the challenge or on the AP test, if you don't go to 3 decimal places, then you don't get credit for your answer. So we'll just go ahead and get in the habit of doing that. All right, and then this is a free response question from 2014. And there is a word in here that we don't quite know yet, but the rest of it we can do. So this was number 4 in 2014. Train A runs back and forth on an east-west section of the railroad track. Train A's velocity is measured in meters per minute, is given by a differentiable function. That's the word we don't know. We will know it soon, but not yet. And that function is v sub a of t, where time is measured in minutes. Where selected values of v sub a of t are given in the table above. So the question is, do the data in the table support the conclusion that train A's velocity is -100 meters per minute at some time t, with t between 5 and 8, and then we're going to give a reason for our answer. So this is a way that the AP exam asks you to use the intermediate value theorem, and they do not say use the intermediate value theorem to prove your answer. You have to know that that's what you do. So the first part of using the intermediate value theorem is showing that the function is continuous on that interval. And the way this uses a word we don't know, we will eventually be able to do this, but when a function is differentiable, it's automatically continuous. So we'll just say v sub a is continuous on the interval from 5 to 8. And if you wanted to use the inequalities like they did, that's fine also. And you know that velocity would be continuous. There's never going to be a time when this train doesn't have a velocity. Like, it could be 0, but it always has a velocity. Velocity function should be continuous for a train. All right. The second part of the intermediate value theorem, we need to identify v sub a of 5 and v sub a of 8. And we can get both of those from the table. So v sub a of 5 is going to be 40, and v sub a of 8 is negative 120. All right. Then we're going to compare what we're looking for with those two values. So our three values are negative 100, 40, and negative 120. So the smallest of those is negative 120. So we would say v sub a of 8 is less than negative 100, which is less than v sub a of 5. All right. So then we can write our statement. So since v sub a is continuous on the interval from 5 to 8, and v sub a of 8 is less than negative 100, is less than v sub a of 5, the intermediate value theorem guarantees there is some time t.
Teacher, student part interruption. This is a reminder.
Alright, there is some time t on the interval from 5 to 8 minutes such that v sub a of t equals negative 100. Or you could say there's some time on the interval such that the velocity of the train is negative 100 meters per second, or meters per minute. All right, so go ahead and finish up that worksheet from yesterday.